Jesse Burwell Walker prayed that his goddamn truck would make it through at least one more winter before rusting completely in two. The truck, a '78 primer gray Ford F-150, had been left to him by his father after the old man lost his long battle with the black lung. A guitar now hung in the gun rack, and the new bumper sticker pasted across the rear window of the camper shell read, "What would Hank do?" Snow-covered gravel crunched beneath Jesse's tires as he pulled off Route 3 into the King's Castle mobile home court. Jesse had turned 26 about a month ago, a little tall and a little lean, with dark hair and sideburns badly in need of a trim. He drummed his long fingers, good guitar-picking fingers, on the bottle of wild turkey cinched between his legs as he rolled by the mobile homes. He drove past a few faded blow-mold Santas and snowmen, then past Ned Burnett's styrofoam deer, the one Ned used for target practice. It hung upside down from his kid's swing set, as though about to be gutted and dressed. Ned had attached a glowing red bulb to its nose. Jesse found that funny the first few times he'd seen it, but since Rudolph had been hanging there since Thanksgiving, the joke was wearing a mite thin. Jesse caught sight of a few sad tinsel trees illuminating a few sad living rooms, but mostly the trailers around King's Castle were dark. Folks either off to cheerier locations or simply not bothering. Jesse knew as well as anyone that times were tough all around Boone County, that not everyone had something to celebrate. Old Millie Boggs's double wide, with its white picket fence and plastic potted plants, came into view as he crested the hill. Millie owned the King's Castle, and once again she'd set up her plastic nativity scene between her drive and the garbage bin. Joseph had fallen over, and Mary's bulb was out, but the little baby Jesus glowed from within with what Jesse guessed to be a 200-watt bulb, making the infant seem radioactive. Jesse drove by the little manger, down the hill, and pulled up next to a small trailer situated within a clump of pines. Upon leasing the trailer to Jesse, Millie had described it as the temporary rental, because, she'd stressed, no one should be living in a cramped-up thing like that for too long. He'd assured her it would only be for a couple of weeks while he sorted things out with his wife, Linda. That was nearly 2 years ago. He switched off the engine and stared at the trailer. Merry Christmas. He unscrewed the whiskey's cap and took a long swig. He wiped his mouth on the back of his jacket sleeve and raised the bottle toward the trailer. On my way to not giving a shit. A single strand of Christmas lights ran along the roofline. Since he'd never bothered to take them down from the previous year, he'd only had to plug them in to join the season's festivities. Only all the bulbs were burned out, with the exception of a lone red one just above the door. It blinked on, then off, on, and then off, beckoning him in. Jesse didn't want to go in. Didn't want to sit on his lumpy blue-tick mattress and stare at the cheap wood paneling. He had a way of finding faces in the knots and grain of the veneer. Sad faces, tortured ones. Inside, he couldn't pretend, couldn't hide from the fact that he was spending another Christmas by himself, and a man who spends Christmas by himself was indeed a man alone in the world. Your wife sure as shit ain't alone, though, is she? Stop it. Where's she at, Jess? Where's Linda? Stop it. She's at his house. A nice house.